In this video, we will cover keyboard shortcuts, Lecture 1, the basics. Part 1 covers some of the most used shortcuts. If you learn just these shortcuts in this lecture, you will be ahead of the game. You will impress your colleagues and save a lot of time each and every day. The first three are copy, paste, and cut. Instead of right-clicking to copy, paste, or cut, simply click Ctrl plus C to copy, Ctrl plus V to paste, or Ctrl plus X to cut. If you want to undo something in the spreadsheet, don't use the undo button, just click Ctrl plus Z. Need to quickly bold, underline, or italicize something in the spreadsheet? Don't use the ribbon. Simply click Ctrl plus B to bold, Ctrl plus U to underline, or Ctrl plus I to italicize. Part 2 covers some other basic shortcuts that I use quite often. If you want to insert a new worksheet, you can use the ribbon and the Insert tab, or you can right-click on a worksheet tab and click Insert. A shorter way would be to simply click Alt-Shift plus F1. Are you tired of seeing the ribbon and want to view your spreadsheet with more of your screen? Click Ctrl plus F1 to hide the ribbon. Don't worry, if you want it back, just click Ctrl plus F1 again to make it visible. If you are working with a very large workbook with many formulas, you may have the calculation option set to manual, which makes working in the spreadsheet much easier. If you want to calculate the formulas, you can simply click F9 to calculate all sheets in the workbook. If you only want to calculate the current worksheet you are working in, then click Shift plus F9. Finally, if you are working in an Excel spreadsheet that contains macros and you want to access the Vba Editor quickly, just click Alt plus F11. This will open up the Vba Editor window for you. Now we will cover an Excel example to illustrate these handy keyboard shortcuts. So we have the following spreadsheet with a database of data here containing various information about sales for different items. We want to generate a sales report for each of these different products. So to start, we'd want to copy each of these items over to the sales report section. So one way to do it would be to right-click and then hit copy. But instead, what we can do is we can hit Ctrl C to copy. Then we can select where we want to paste it, and instead of right-clicking and paste, what we can do is we can hit Ctrl V to paste. We also want to move this laptop here, so we'll Ctrl C to copy and then Ctrl V to paste. We also want to grab the mouse and monitor, so Ctrl C to copy and Ctrl V to paste. Now, this sales report is up top here. Maybe we want to move it down. So one way to do that would be to right-click, cut, and then move it down. But instead of that, what we'll do is we'll hit Ctrl X to cut. And now we'll move it down here, and to do that, we'll paste it, so Ctrl V to paste. So we can move these around by hitting Ctrl X and Ctrl V. Next, suppose that we want to bold and underline this title here. One way to do that would be to hit bold and then underline. Another way that we can do it is hit Ctrl B and Ctrl U to underline. Finally, suppose we want these values to be italicized. One way to do that would be to hit this button up here to italicize it. Another way would be to hit Ctrl I, which italicizes the text that you've selected. Now suppose that we want to undo something. So suppose we bold this by mistake and underlined it, for example. Well, we don't want that. So what we can do is we can undo it. So we can hit Ctrl Z to undo it. Alternatively, we can go up here and click this undo button here. And this also has a redo button, so we can redo it. But a shortcut would be to hit Ctrl Z to undo it. Next, suppose we want to increase the number of sheets in our workbook and we want to insert a new sheet. One way to do that would be to go on the Home tab here, under Insert, hit Insert Sheet, and that brings a new sheet in. Another way to do it would be to right-click and then go Insert. It opens this menu here. We select Worksheet, and it inserts another sheet. An easy way to do it, though, would be to use a keyboard shortcut. So we can hit Alt and then hold Shift at the same time, and then hit F1. And this inserts a worksheet for us. So Alt-Shift F1 inserts a worksheet. Now, the ribbon up here is great. It has all our tools, but what if we want to make our spreadsheet a little bit bigger so we can see more of it? Well, one way to do that would be to use the Control and then F1 shortcut, and that actually hides our ribbon. You want to display it again so that you can access it easier, just hit Control F1 again. That will make it visible or invisible. Finally, in Excel options, it allows us to, under formulas, we can change the calculation from automatic to manual. So with really big spreadsheets, sometimes we have it set to manual so that it's not always calculating the formulas. But for example, if we create a formula and then we drag it down, for some reason it thinks that all of these are 694. And the reason is because it hasn't calculated it yet. One way to calculate it would be to go down here and click the Calculate button. So F9 calculates all of the values for us, and it's an easy shortcut.